Hello there, Crafty Doer. Jessica Michaels here from The Crafty Doings, Mixed Media Paper Crafts, here for a cherry on top and Technique Tuesday. This month's technique is Color Drench. I'm going to create a mixed media card, so grab a comfy chair, grab all your crafty things, and let's get into the crafty doings. For this mixed media card, I am going to drench the panel with Distress Spray Stains. And I'm going to play with Dina Wakley's recent stamp release, a alpha stencil by Tim Holtz and Stampers Anonymous, Ranger's permanent archival ink in jet black, and Ranger's opaque matte texture paste. First and foremost, I want to ensure that I have the correct paper to work with this type of mixed media because it is a technique where I'm going to drench the paper. So I don't want anything that's going to absorb all the ink completely. In fact, I want a surface where the spray stain is going to be able to move around. Step one to my go-to mixed media background card process is to use the permanent archival ink with a script stamp. Now that can be script, it could be text, it could be some kind of writing. And I am lucky because this set by Dina Wakley has some script on this moon image, and I didn't really want to use the moon image itself, but I'm happy that I didn't have to pull out another stamp set just for the script. So I'm going to lightly just stamp it sporadically around my card. I'm going to dry it up a little bit with my heat drying tool before spritzing a little bit of the Tattered Rose, and I'm also going to spritz it a little bit with water using my Distress sprayer and move the ink around with my finger wherever I feel like it needs to go. At the same time, you'll notice that I am holding my heat drying tool and drying these layers. The idea behind this technique is not to mix the spray stains so much. There is going to be some mixing, but try to keep the colors as separate as possible. And that's why I like to use my finger and move the ink around, because I have a little bit more control of it that way. And if there's a color that starts to mix in with another, I just dab it off a little bit with a paper towel. Now I'm going to repeat this process. I do want to share a little bit behind the method to this madness, because it's just kind of it's more of a feeling, and I know that's probably going to sound completely odd to you, but when I see a blank space, that's where I want to spritz a little bit of the color. You'll notice that I started with a Tattered Rose because it is the lighter color, and that's the color that could probably cover the panel completely the most, because then adding deeper colors on top of that will layer. If I were to add Tattered Rose on top of these deeper and darker colors, it would probably just fade away in the background. So the next step is to spritz similar colors in different shades. For example, where I spritz the sage, I also had spritz the patina. And what that does is it creates lots and lots of depth. Now, one thing I will encourage you is to trust the process, because not even just distress spray stain, but any other medium, it looks really different wet or initially applied versus after you let it dry. So trust the process and then just keep going. The next step to my mixed media background is to add some texture paste. One of my absolute favorites is the opaque texture paste by Ranger. And I am adding this after I pretty much set my background on this card panel because I actually want the color white of to this paste to pop out. I don't want it completely saturated in the spray stain. The easiest way to apply a pattern or a stencil design is to kind of make like an X design and then also rotate the stencils at the edges. And last thing is not to completely stencil the design. Just stencil it partially, and that will make it look a lot more organic rather than forced. So again, I'm going to hit it with my heat drying tool to help it dry, and I saved this spice marmalade color for last because it is going to be my contrast and pop of color. And I'm only going to spritz it a couple times, and a little bit at the top, a little bit at the bottom, and then spritz it with water. I do encourage you to use water with your spray stains. It really does help it move, and then it gives you those darker areas and those lighter areas. So it's just another fun way of kind of using different shades of the same color. So I'm going to hit that with my heat drying tool, and then once it's done, I'm going to go back to each color of spray stain, unscrew the nozzle to each, and splatter on top of the color on the panel. This just creates another layer of interest and depth. The last thing I'm going to do to this background is to spritz some water droplets on top of the splatters and obviously the background, and this will give me my wicking that I absolutely love that happens with the distress line, and it also kind of helps dilute the splatters because they're a little too prominent as far as being a part of the background. So once that is dry, I'm going to reach for the birds from this stamp set, and I'm gonna use the archival ink since I have it out, and I honestly don't know what I'm going to do after I put this focal point on my card panel. I may or may not ink it up or use spray stain or whatever, so I want to make sure that it's a permanent ink. And so I have a scrap piece of paper. I'm going to ink that stamp up, stamp my image, and then fussy cut. A couple of other steps that I like to take and are a part of my go-to mixed media card background process is to distress the edges. I think it adds just like a really cool, honestly, a distress look, and that is totally up my alley. I like to use this paper distresser by Tim Holtz from Tonic Studios, and because I am using the Strathmore bristle watercolor paper, it is a little bit thicker, and I like it because then I kind of have to really distress it, and I can have control of how much torn edge I want. The second step I like to take for my mixed media cards is to elevate the panel on the base, and I like to do this using cherry tape foam. And I love this stuff because it is super easy to tear just with my fingers, so I don't ever reach for my scissors. And that's a good thing because then the stickiness gets on the scissors, and then that's a whole nother thing that I have to clean up. And I absolutely despise cleaning up after or during a project. And I also think that elevating the panel off the base takes it from like a handmade card to like a very artsy mixed media card, if that makes any sense. So the moon stamp in Dina Wakley's stamp set has a tiny little sentiment on the bottom of the moon. It is too tiny to just be like a strip of sentiment for my card. But what I am going to do is stamp it multiple times across the strip and then use the entire thing as my sentiment. I'm going to elevate the bird with some cherry tape foam. And if I just take the backing off, I am able to bend the strip of foam to where I need it. I'm going to add a few black markings using this Posca marker near and behind the bird, just to draw the eye down to the focal point, and then I am able to really pay attention to the sentiment down there. And I was debating whether to outline the card, but I about 80% love this card, and a rule of thumb is if you 80% love it, leave it alone, because that 20% is not worth it. It is not an easy rule for me to follow, but I try my best. And if I am going to go back in there, it's going to be for something minor. Like in this case, I feel like the blue in this color palette falls a little flat. So I'm reaching for Dina Wakley's gloss spray and acrylic paint, and I think I'm gonna stick with the gloss spray. The color fits it a little bit better, the peacock, distress stain peacock, a little better. So I'm simply just going to do a little bit of a splatter, and I'm going to do my best, but not my absolute best, to not get any splatters on the base. And I'm so eager to just complete the card, not because I want to get it done, but because I want to see it, the finished, the result. So I end up obviously getting some splatters on the base, and so I'm going to go with it, and I'm going to purposely now make sure that I get some splatters on the base where I am splattering so that it looks intentional. I got some on the bird, but because it's gloss, it's going to kind of come off. Well, at least I'm hoping, and I'm glad that it did for the most part. So here is the final look to my mixed media card. I hope that I lived up to Technique Tuesday's challenge, which is color drench. And I hope that you were truly inspired today to reach for your mixed media products and create on your paper crafts. For more mixed media tips, tricks, and inspiration, follow me at The Crafty Doings. All of the featured products will be in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching. Until the next Crafty Doings.